BoxSeat is an opportunity for young entrepreneurs to pitch us for funding from BoxFund. My name's Roger Wade. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started my first business at the age of 22. It was one of Britain's first streetwear brands, Box Fresh. I brought in brands like Carhartt and G-Star into the UK. I sold that business in 2005 to Penton Brands, a multi-billion branded house. I then became a brand consultant and I used to buy and sell brands like Superdry. I then set up the world's first pop-up mall, Box Park. I built that business up over the next 10 years into one of Britain's fastest growing brands. And I sold that business to Lloyds Development Capital a couple of years ago. Since then, I've invested in a variety of small businesses, and then I decided to set up my own venture capital fund, BoxFund, specializing in ESG consumer brands that not only want to be profitable, but wanted to make a better world. I'm passionate about consumer brands. I think all consumer brands should be special to the customer. I'm on a journey to find the future consumer brands of this world, the brands that will not only make profit, but make a better world. And today, I'm joined by Keir Carnie, the CEO of Nuud Gum. Keir, welcome to BoxSeat and our first ever guest. Why don't you start by telling us about your background and your journey to creating Nuud?
Thanks, Roger. My background really started with, I suppose, being brought up in a fairly sustainably minded family. And I studied finance at university, went to Bournemouth, and really enjoyed finance and the kind of entrepreneurial element to the degree, and actually went into investment, an entry-level role in investment. I didn't hugely enjoy that role, so looked for other opportunities and ended up landing a job on the Heineken grad scheme. So joined Heineken about 12 years ago now, and worked my way up through various different commercial sales roles within the Heineken business for about 4 years. Learned a huge amount about kind of brand building, category management, consumer and insight, but had this little entrepreneurial itch that needed scratching. So left Heineken after about 4 years, and with a friend and ex-colleague from Heineken, opened a pub business up in the northeast of the country.
That must have been tough.
That was tough, yeah. Learned a huge amount. I probably learned more in that year of running the pub than in the previous 4 or 5 years at Heineken. And as you know, hospitality is an incredibly challenging sector, particularly to kind of cut your teeth in. But yeah, really enjoyed it, learned a huge amount, and ended up selling the lease on the pub and actually returned to Heineken for another few years following that venture. But that was really the first dipping of the toes into the entrepreneurial journey, and I needed more. So when I rejoined Heineken, I started looking for other opportunities to start my next venture, if you like. And I knew I wanted it to be in food and drink. That really is my kind of bread and butter and my area of interest. I knew I wanted to build a brand. I knew I wanted to set up a kind of purpose-led business and a potentially sustainably forward business. So that's where the new journey really started.
So tell us about your experience of sales when you were at Heineken.
Yeah, so I started on the graduate scheme and really worked my way up through loads of different sales and commercial forward roles at Heineken. But yeah, always with sales and account growth and account management at the heart. I was dealing with big national customers and really trying to understand what those customers needed and how the products within our portfolio and the services that Heineken as a business could offer could really help those customers achieving their goals. And bringing more customers and driving rate of sale and driving category growth for these big organisations.
You sort of had this entrepreneurial urge and that you wanted to do a purpose-led business. So where did that come from and how did that transpire into you creating Nuud biodegradable gum?
I think it really goes back to my roots and my upbringing. I think I was always brought up in a family that was kind of sustainably minded and cared about the planet. So I think that's where it really dates back to, from my early years of childhood.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Bristol, or Bath actually, but yeah, born in Bristol, grew up around Bath. I think it was that kind of upbringing then when I went to set up Nuud that kind of played a part in decision making and deciding where I wanted to go with the business. And I was researching opportunities in grocery. I always knew that I wanted to set up a food or drink brand. As I said, it was really my bread and butter and my career to that date. And just looking around my local supermarkets in Bath, it was really clear that there were loads of fantastic purpose-led, sustainable, plant-based brands popping up in other categories. So brands like Oatly in milk, completely revolutionising the milk category with a more, carbon neutral, plant-based alternative to cow's milk. Or Tony's Chocolonely in chocolate, completely eradicating the child labour and ingredient problem in the chocolate category. And just looking at the chewing gum category, it was like glaringly obvious that there was one player completely dominating the market. Everywhere you looked, it was packs of Extra, and still is. I knew that lots of the ingredients in Extra were bad for us. Sweeteners like aspartame, sulfamine, sorbitol, lots of the same synthetic sweeteners that you find in Diet Coke that consumers are increasingly trying to avoid. But the real penny drop moment was when I found out about gum base, which is the mask for all of the plastic that's hidden in every piece of regular gum.
On the ingredient list for Extra gum, or for, let's say, plastic gum, it doesn't actually say plastic. It says gum extract, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it says gum base actually.
Gum base. So tell us about that.
Exactly.
So I found this amazing when you told me.
It's mind-blowing, and this was the real kind of penny drop moment for me and for the, for setting up the Nuud business. So gum base is what's known as a proprietary ingredient, which means that big brands, big gum brands like Extra, are allowed to simply list gum base as an ingredient. However, there are lots of hidden ingredients within that proprietary term. So if you unravel gum base, it should read, legally in our opinion, polyethylene, polystyrene, PVA, polyvinyl acetate, lots of the same plastics that you find in shampoo bottles, carrier bags, car tyres, and even glue. But all of those plastics are being bundled into this proprietary term, and that means that 85% of gum chewers are completely unknowingly chewing on this big blob of plastic.
So basically, gum extract is another word for plastic.
Exactly, Roger.
And how, this is mind-blowing. How the hell do people get away with describing plastic in your ingredients as gum extract? Why is that masked? Why don't parents out there know that when their kids are chewing gum, they're really chewing plastic? How do they get away with that?
We believe it's the food industry's dirtiest secret. We believe gum chewers deserve to know what they're putting into their mouth and the impact it has on their health and on the environment. But for some reason, big brands are allowed to list it as gum base and hide all of these dirty ingredients. And we believe that ingredient transparency is the only way forward.
Basically, the ingredient gum base is another word, a pseudonym for plastic.
Absolutely, Roger. Not just plastic, single-use plastic. Gum is the ultimate single-use plastic. Once you've chewed a piece of plastic gum, and by the way, there's a drinking straw's worth of plastic in every single piece.
And plastic straws are banned.
Plastic straws are banned. Why isn't gum banned? But once you've finished chewing a piece of gum, you take that blob of stuff out of your mouth, which is the drinking straw's worth of plastic. Where does it go? It's the ultimate single-use plastic. It's never used again.
So hold on, not only are we chewing plastic, we're then spitting out this plastic on the floor, which doesn't biodegrade. It's just left to pollute the environment, and it never goes away effectively.
Litter is an absolutely huge problem. So plastic gum is the second most littered product on our streets, after cigarette butts. It's stuck to 90% of pavements around the country. It costs 80p for a pack of Wrigley's Extra, but every single piece costs £1.50 to clean up off our streets, which is a bill that goes into the hundreds of millions of pounds for the British taxpayer. Again, completely unknowingly.
So one piece costs 8p, let's say it costs 10p, and it costs £1.50 for all our struggling councils to pick that up. Never mind the environmental damage that's doing. And even when it's picked up, that doesn't mean that it's degrading.
Even responsibly binned gum is ultimately going into landfill, going into water systems. It can even get back into the human food chain by grinding down into microplastics, sea life consumption, and then we're eating the sea life and it's coming back into our food chain that way.
Are you aware of any other food that you eat that's got plastic? Fundamentally, it's 100% plastic.
To our knowledge, there's no other product sold in the UK that actually contains plastic in the ingredients. There's plastic packaging, of course, used throughout the industry, and there are problems with that, but there's no other product that actually contains plastic, not only in the ingredients, but hidden in the ingredients, which is twice as bad in our mind.
And how aware are people that effectively you're chewing on plastic chewing gum?
85% of gum chewers have no idea that they're chewing on this piece of plastic and the health and environmental problems that arise from that.
So, you know, if I'm a parent, I mean, I remember when I was young and I used to sometimes swallow plastic gum. And let me tell you, it wasn't just me. So there's kids out there not aware, or even adults out there, that are swallowing gum and they're swallowing plastic into their intestines. I mean, surely it should carry a warning sign.
Well, we believe it should carry the same warning that cigarettes carry. And eventually that's our ambition for the category, that chewing gum, plastic chewing gum, has to clearly label all of the plastic ingredients as a first step, so that parents and gum chewers are fully aware of what they're putting into their body. I mean, the impact of just chewing on a piece of plastic is absolutely sending microplastics and toxins into your bloodstream. And of course, no one recommends that you swallow a piece of chewing gum, but we all know it happens. If you swallow a piece of chewing gum, that's going into your bloodstream, and all of those plastics are just gradually going to be releasing out into
Could be staying in your stomach.
Could be staying in your stomach indefinitely.
It's not breaking down. Okay, so we've spoken about this crazy secret that effectively 99% of all gum is plastic based. How does Nuud resolve that problem? What's different about your product?
The main difference between Nuud and regular chewing gum, big gum as we call it, is that we don't contain any plastic within our ingredient base. So Nuud is completely plastic-free, plant-based, biodegradable, and naturally sugar-free with only natural ingredients. The main point of difference is this sustainable tree sap that we use within our gum base. It's called chicle. It comes from Central America, so Guatemala and Mexico, from a tree called the sapodilla tree, where it grows rigorously, shall we say, and we sustainably harvest this tree sap, chicle, in a very similar way to tapping for maple syrup, if you like. So we're not cutting the tree down, we take a cut into the bark of the sapodilla tree, extract the sap, harvest the sap, and that sap forms a very similar chewy texture to the blend of single-use plastics that the big gum brands use, but ensures that our gum base is completely biodegradable and plastic-free and natural.
Weird, because this reminds me of the rubber story, because my own heritage was my family used to own a rubber plantation in Malaysia, and rubber used to be made naturally, and then plastics came along in the 50s, and you basically then had plastic rubber tyres. They weren't rubber, they weren't natural tyres, and now we're going more back to sort of natural-based rubber. So so in the early days, I would presume that chewing gum was naturally based. So it's almost as though you're bringing back the natural products, you know, in a post sort of plastic world.
It sounds like the chewing gum category has fairly accurately tracked the tyre category. in terms of the evolution and the introduction of plastic. We've done a fair amount of research on this, and we know that 75% of consumers, when they find out chewing gum is essentially made of plastic, never want to chew it again. So we've got
I'm never having it.
Absolutely. So we've got a huge job to do in terms of increasing consumer awareness, first and foremost, about the hidden plastics in gum and the problems from a health and environmental perspective that plastic gum creates. And we know that we can affect wholesale change from a consumer perspective just by increasing awareness. But on the product, we've worked really tirelessly to develop a gum that looks, tastes and chews just like regular chewing gum, so that it's absolutely no compromise for gum chewers. And the two key ingredients that we use, chicle and xylitol, both from trees, and deliver our fully plant-based, naturally sugar-free, fresh breath and great taste.
So it tastes good. It's not plastic, it's 100% natural. It doesn't have any nasty ingredients in it. Wow.
Clean gum. It's got to be the future, Roger.
Sounds good, son. So I think I read that the total UK market size is 300 million, of which less than 1 million of that gum is non-plastic gum, of which maybe Nuud make up 500,000 of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's about right, Roger. So it's a £300 million market. Mars control 95% of it. There's a business called Perfetti Van Mel who have another 3.5%, and everyone else makes up the rest, of which Nuud is about 500,000 in retail value.
Gum, let's say, potentially gets banned in the UK. Let's say, I believe it should be banned, to be frank with you, knowing the contents of it. You're talking about, really, there's a huge market opportunity for biodegradable gum.
Absolutely. Our ambition is to convert every extra chewer into a Nuud chewer. So we believe there's a £300 million opportunity for us to go and harness by shining a spotlight on the problem and providing an alternative that fits the consumer need. And
that's just the UK. Because the total market size is what?
The total market size is 26 billion. There's absolutely no reason why, once dominating the UK market, we can't take this further afield.
And again, it's a similar story, dominated by plastic chewing gum. All right, okay, there's a massive opportunity, but since founding, talk to me about what you've been doing since you started and what penetration you've got into in terms of the UK market. Who are you selling to and what's their feedback been like?
So the journey since we started is we spent about a year developing this product. As I said to you earlier, we really wanted a product that was absolutely no compromise for chewers. Since then, we've launched into the market, and our first listing our first major listing was with Waitrose. So we now have a really strong partnership with Waitrose as their alternative to Extra in the category. And we're actually outgrowing Extra within Waitrose, which is fantastic. Wow. Whilst their gum volumes are flatlining and actually in the last quarter started even declining, Nuud is massively outgrowing the category, contributing to huge growth and additional value.
So you're the only biodegradable chewing gum brand in Waitrose?
Absolutely. It's us and Extra.
Wow.
Alongside each other.
And are you all store Waitrose?
Yeah, we've got a full national listing. So 300 Waitrose stores, and we're available in pretty much every single one. And look out for us on that till fixture right at the front of store where consumers look to buy their chewing gum.
And in terms of the volume by retail sales, say, that Waitrose sell, how much do they sell each year in the chewing gum category, and how much you currently got of that?
So Waitrose sell about £2.6 million worth of chewing gum every single year, and we currently account for about 10 to 15% of their gum category. So there's a huge upside opportunity for us. And of course, a plastic gum ban with Waitrose, which is our ultimate ambition, would present a huge opportunity for us.
Let's be clear, Waitrose are renowned for their ESG credentials. They've really led the way. I mean, I think they were one of the first retailers or grocers to ban plastic straws within their stores, and that was before there was a national ban. So what inroads have you made within Waitrose about discussing the possibility of banning plastic chewing gum within Waitrose?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We think Waitrose is the perfect place to affect a retailer-wide ban on plastic chewing gum. And they were one of the first to ban plastic drinking straws, one of the first to introduce the plastic bag levy. They also sit, interestingly, at the top of the Greenpeace grocery chart on their approach to plastic and removing it from their operations. So they're really forward-thinking. They love to be first to market on ESG initiatives. And we are in conversations with their commercial director around a retailer-wide ban. There's some work to do on that, and we're excited to involve you in those conversations, Roger. But yeah, we feel like it's certainly achievable in the next year or so.
So it stands to reason that 85% of Waitrose customers, when they're buying plastic chewing gum, don't realise it's plastic.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is the future of the gum category. Young people make up actually the lion's share of gum chewers. So 50% of gum chewers are Gen Z, so under 25. And these are the consumers that are most engaged on the environment, on plastics and solving the global plastic problem, on carbon emissions, on eating a plant-based diet, ingredient transparency, purpose-led brands. So actually the future of the gum category is the nude chewer. And it's about harnessing as many of those as possible. So
it stands to reason, as a bare minimum, there's a whole education issue with educating the customers within Waitrose. If you are going to buy plastic chewing gum, at least know it's plastic. You know, at least don't describe it as gum base. Actually have a warning sign, you are choosing plastic. But hopefully actually get it banned within Waitrose, because fundamentally, plastic chewing gum is terrible for you.
Our long-term ambition is for a nationwide ban on plastic chewing gum, and it happened to the drinking straw, so there's absolutely no reason to think that it won't eventually happen to the piece of plastic chewing gum. But yeah, a store-wide ban with someone like Waitrose is a certainly natural progression towards that, and it makes sense for their customer base. But you're right, the first thing we need to do is raise awareness with consumers, with gum chewers, with Waitrose shoppers, and actually give them an educated choice within the category. So ingredient transparency is the first step on that journey to getting
the bare minimum.
It's the bare minimum.
It's like a warning sign. Look, be aware what you're having here.
Absolutely, it has to go in the direction of cigarettes in our mind. We need Big Gum to clearly list those plastic ingredients on the side of the pack so that the consumer at the very minimum can make an educated choice as to what they're buying.
I mean, we all remember the image of a tortoise with a plastic straw in its nose. So imagine the outrage if you had footage of a kid's intestines which is absolutely full of plastic chewing gum. I'm a great believer, I mean, I bet my house on it, that the future of all consumer brands are going to be more sustainable, environmentally conscious brands that represent our society in terms of more social integration, you know, in terms of proper governance within them. And it just seems absolutely a no-brainer that we've got to revolutionise the plastic chewing gum industry and hopefully create a better environmental product.
Couldn't agree with you more, Roger. And I know you're obviously on the investment side of that cycle. From a brand owner perspective, from a founder perspective, that really has to be driven by the consumer. And it's consumers that are demanding that change, you know, demanding plant-based alternatives, demanding purpose-led brands, products that are honest about their ingredients, products that are providing a more sustainable future. And what's really refreshing is that young people care most about the planet and care most about these facts, and they're the ones that are going to drive the change.
So Keir, let's talk about your aspirations over the next 5 years. How do you see the journey sort of growing in terms of Keir and, more importantly, getting plastic chewing gum banned?
Yeah, so we believe it starts with a grocer. So our initial goal is to get a grocer such as a Waitrose to fully ban plastic gum from sale on its premises. And once we've achieved that, we want to move on and get a city to ban single-use plastic gum completely. And do it regionally. I mean, think about the benefits, the plastic gum litter that you're saving and the health and environmental benefits to your city dwellers from doing that. So the next goal is to get a citywide ban of plastic gum, and then eventually we believe that plastic gum has to follow the plastic drinking straw, and that our government has a responsibility to completely ban single-use plastic chewing gum from sale in the UK. And of course, the Holy Grail is a full global ban on plastic chewing gum. And that's the purpose of our business. We exist to rid the world of plastic gum. We're doing that by getting consumers to chew plants, not plastic, but our ambition is to rid the world completely of plastic chewing gum. And we believe that is fully achievable.
I believe that's achievable. I mean, when you get to a situation that you've got cities and councils up and down the country spending millions of pounds cleaning up plastic chewing gum from their street, something that actually costs 10 times, 100 times more than what the product cost originally. You know, why is the public taxpayer paying to clear up the chewing gum? That's the responsibility of the plastic chewing gum industry. They should be paying it. It's costing our taxpayers hundreds of millions of pounds. You know, and we're paying that at a time in which local councils are struggling to survive. When you have a consumer brand, you've got to have a great product proposition. I really understand your product proposition and the question that you're answering, the why of why you exist. You're here to rid the world of plastic gum and get people to chew plants, not plastic. I can see the potential market opportunity in terms of you've got all-store Waitrose, you're looking for it to get banned within a grocer. Once it gets banned in a grocer, you're looking for it to be banned by a city, and then eventually nationally in the UK and hopefully internationally. So I really buy into that. But you can have the best product strategy, you can have the best distribution strategy, but you've got to have a great team. Tell us about your team. Tell us about the initial investors that you've got on board. Tell us about the rest of the team.
I think we've got a fantastic team and a really great balance of skill sets across the team. So as I said to you earlier, my background is really kind of commercial and sales with a bit of strategy, but that's nicely balanced with some of my early investors and co-founders. So Andy Med and Pippa Dunn, founders of Broody. Andy, also a partner and founding partner of Mother, one of the world's best independent creative agencies. So we've got some absolute marketing stalwarts behind this brand, helping us really raise that awareness as to the problem and Nuud as the solution. We've got a massive foodie mentality within the business also. So another of our early investors is Katjes International. Katjes are Europe's leading plant-based confectionery manufacturer, and they're involved in product development, innovation, and ensuring that Nuud absolutely stands up to the consumer test in delivering on fresh breath and a healthy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, they invested in Candy Kittens.
Absolutely, yeah. So Katjes International have a majority stake in Candy Kittens, which is the UK's fastest growing plant-based sweet brand, founded by Jamie Lang and Ed Williams, and Ed and Jamie are heavily involved in Nuud and have supported us on our journey so far. And we'd absolutely love it if BoxFund join us on that journey and you get yourself involved and play an active role in helping us grow this business.
Depends on the numbers. Let's talk about that now.
So that 500,000 is going to be invested in growing our distribution and our revenue to over £1 million and getting to EBITDA positive. And we also want to really use that money to get that first national retailer, be it a Waitrose or a co-op, to completely ban plastic chewing gum. Once that happens, we're really, really excited about the future of this business.
Let's say in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you hope to get the turnover up to? And what do you hope to get the EBITDA up to?
So within the next 5 years, our aim is to get to £10 million turnover and EBITDA of £1 million. And by the way, if we get there, that will be hundreds of millions of plastic straws that we've saved from the environment.
Many entrepreneurs that, are looking for investment, but they don't really have an exit strategy. What's your exit strategy?
Well, look, Nuud exists to rid the world of plastic gum, and that is first and foremost why this business is here and our ultimate ambition. And we're doing that by converting chewers to Nuud and chewing plants instead. But in terms of our growth and kind of exit plan, we want to get to that 10 million revenue and 1 million EBITDA marker. And we believe then we'll have a business and a brand and a proposition, particularly in the context of a potential plastic chewing gum ban, that makes a really attractive acquisition target for a trade buyer or further major investment round.
So grow the business to 10 million turnover in the UK, get EBITDA to 1 million, and basically then get either major investment into the company or get a trade buyer to buy you who can grow the brand internationally, and you become effectively the Oatly of your category.
Absolutely. The Oatly of our category, the Tony's Chocolonely of our category. We believe in 5 years' time, chewing gum is going to look completely different to how it looks today.
Okay, so let's get to the £500,000 question, which is, why should I invest in Nuud, and why would BoxFund be a good partner for you?
Well, let's start with why Nuud. I think you clearly have an interest in ESG and purpose-led brands, and I believe Nuud is the ultimate purpose-led consumer brand. Every single pack of our product sold is saving 10 pieces of plastic from the environment. So just by buying our product, we are solving a significant environmental problem. Why BoxFund? Why you? You've obviously got years of experience in scaling, growing and exiting consumer brands. I love your passion. I think your ambition for the planet is perfectly aligned with mine and with Nuud's, and we'd love to have you on board and help us really take this brand and this business into the next phase of growth.
Have you got any questions for me?
I think my main question for you is, what do you like about the Nuud business? What do you like about me? What makes us potentially an appealing investment target?
I'll let you know in the future. Keir, I just want to thank you. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I really love meeting entrepreneurs that have got passion, that have got drive, and I believe you've got that in buckets, but more importantly, you've got purpose. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for having me.
It was great chatting to Keir from Nuud today. So if I'm looking at that business, I'm thinking about the 3 key pillars. So firstly, product. Do I like the product? What does it taste like? I think I actually tried the product. It tastes great. It tastes just like chewing gum, but you're chewing plants, not plastic. So I think with a massive tick, it ticks the product box. Distribution. Do I buy into the idea that the distribution can increase? Does it have a compelling story? I think that's a massive tick for me. I really believe, I am shocked about the ingredients of plastic chewing gum, and there's this huge market opportunity. I think we heard from Keir earlier that the opportunity in the UK alone is a 200 million, 300 million market, and of which biodegradable chewing gum is only 1 million. So I really buy into the story that actually plastic chewing gum will get banned. It's not a question of if it will get banned, it will be banned. And I think that Nuud are in the perfect place as the market leading product to be the #1 biodegradable chewing gum in the UK. And I think it's got a great strategy in terms of focusing on the UK, focus on getting a ban within a Waitrose or major grocer, then a city, and then hopefully the UK. So I really buy into that traffic and that distribution story. And finally, it's the team. You can have a fantastic product. You can have an amazing market opportunity and a distribution channel, but do I buy into the team? Do I really buy into Keir? And I do. I think this lad has got ambition, and I think he's got the right background. He spent those years working in the FMCG market, working for Heineken. He has a clear idea of what he wants to achieve. He knows how he's going to do it. He's already made the product. He's already got the distribution. He's met every milestone, and I buy into the fact that he's going to get chewing gum banned in the next 5 years. So look, the purpose of BoxFund is to find the future entrepreneurs that are not only going to be successful, but make a better world. So do I believe that Nuud can do that? I do. That leaves one thing. Time to change. Try the product. Here it goes. Cheers.